All right, we're started here. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Bound to Talk Basketball podcast. This is about the fifth episode, I think. We haven't been very, on top of our schedule here, but we're back this week, a midweek podcast. Couldn't get things done on Sunday. We got some special guests in the house tonight. What's up, boys? We got Trey McCowan, Trevin Crumright, and Cyrus Courtney from Cedar Rapids Kennedy. Best team in 4A, best team in the state. How's it going, boys?
It's going on. It's going good.
Let's go. And we got Jax back with us. No Blake on the pod tonight. He's got something else going on. We were going to have Paul join us, but Paul's flaking like usual. So it's just the boys in here, the usuals. But yeah, we're going to have a great podcast. This is the first time we've had any guests on the podcast. So just bear with us. It's probably going to be pretty rough, but whatever. We're going to fly by the seat of our pants. So, all right, boys, you got anything to start with us? You guys are having a great season. Trey, you're leading scoring for all the team with 13 points a game. Trey, you're only a junior and 4.4 assists. Cyrus as well. You guys are one of the top assist players, one of the best stealers of the basketball, if that's something weird to say, both in the top 5 in steals per game, getting things done on the offensive and defensive end. And then, we got the man in the middle right there, 3-point sniper. Come on, Trayvon. He's shooting 46.8% from 3. That's nuts. One of the best in the state, along with 10 points per game. So you guys are really the leaders coming back from last year. We know you guys are playing great basketball in the moment. What you guys got going else in your life right now?
Not much. A lot of practice, a lot of games, middle of the season, so.
We go out to eat a lot as a team, so always hang out with the teammates. Hit up Casa, Joe Bean's favorite restaurant, so we all go.
Casa?
Casa.
That's the best spot in Cedar Rapids?
Mexican.
Oh, that's good. All right, well, we heard a little bit before. Trey might be a stud on the links, right? We've heard a little bit about that. That's kind of Jack and I's thing. We're a couple studs out there on the course. But little do you know, a couple ballers too. I think if we add Paul to our 3, we might have a little game going between us. Maybe take out the best trio in the state. You never know, Jack.
We're dangerous. I want to say I average maybe 4 points in my intramurals. I'm up there. Yeah, maybe 4 points. I'm close to turnovers as well. That number, we're not going to say that one, but we're up there. We'd be a dangerous trio. I don't know. Personally, I have all 3 of these guys on locks, in my opinion. I'm a P-lock build. So that's all I got to say, really. But it'd be close. We're obviously taking the links part if we're doing the 2v2 series, or 3v3 series, whatever. But
for sure,
I don't know, basketball's going to be close. That's all I got to say.
I think I'm just dominating the boards in there, standing at 5'11", 6 foot if I'm lucky. I'm just a menace in there, right? No offensive abilities at all, but I'm a menace in there. But not as much of a menace as you guys. All right, number 1 team for a reason. You guys have beat everybody you played undefeated, only 4A team that's undefeated. You got the number 1 offense in the state, number 1 defense in the state. You got wins almost against every ranked team, Valley, Waukee, Cedar Falls, Dubuque Senior. So just tell us a little bit about the squad this year.
It's a lot different from last year. We're a lot more balanced. We got a lot more size, so it adds a lot more dynamic to our defense.
This year, all of us can score the ball, so it really takes the weight off everyone else because no matter who's on the floor, we can all score and we can all defend. So it really helps the balance just stay smooth.
All right, yeah, that's
having
a balanced team. He's feeling it. You guys are really balanced scoring. I mean, none of you guys average more than 15, which we see this a lot with some of the 4A teams. Like we're going to talk about the Ankeneys in a little bit. They're just dominated by one player, but that makes them so much more vulnerable. You guys are just well balanced all through 5 and then through 10 coming off the bench. So you can put anybody out there, injuries like sickness, it's not going to matter. Anybody going out there is so good. So we said you guys are leading offense and defense. Another thing too, you guys lead in about every single category too. We look across the board: points per game, points allowed per game, steals per game, field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, 3-pointers made per game. That's just insane. How do you guys shoot the rock so well? You shoot it like 6% better than any other team in the whole state.
We play really good off each other, and we have great guards, so everyone gets good looks. And the way we move the ball and talk on offense turns into buckets.
I do want to. So it's kind of off topic a little bit, but everybody always says teams that aren't in the CIML are always busts, and we've seen it every once in a while. The CIML just seems to always kind of win the championship over the last couple of years. What do you guys? I know I hear it all the time. I see it in comments all the time saying, Kennedy's a bust again. You guys have beat CIML teams multiple times this year already with Key and a few other really good schools. What do you guys have anything to say about that at all? Or maybe is there anything you're looking forward to, any games at all? Or
everyone looking over the NBC, but I mean it's equally balanced, I think, and there's a lot of good teams in the NBC. So everyone wants to say CIML is dominant every year, but the NBC always competes, and that's part of the reason why McAllen started the NBC CIML tournament so we can show that we're right up there with them and that we're not having a cupcake schedule every year. So it's like we belong, we're on top for a reason.
And this might be kind of a dumb question to ask. I mean, I think everybody always thinks this as a basketball team, especially when you're 19-0 now, 18-0. Do you guys genuinely believe that you guys are going to lose it all for the rest of the year? You guys think you're going to have a loss the rest of the year?
We go one game at a time. So right now we're just getting ready for Iowa City High, and game plan for every game is to win, right? So we're going in with that mentality, but it's one game at a time every time. So can't look past anybody and got to focus on the win now.
Sorry, that was a dumb question, but
appreciate the humble answer. That's just class right there.
Yeah.
We all know the true answer.
We all know the true answer. I mean, I believe it. So I also appreciate, though, too, that any chance you guys get, you take care of any of the Mississippi Athletic Conference, because I'm sick and tired of hearing about all those teams. Not going to lie. They don't even stack up to the other two. So, I mean, people are always in the comments talking about North Scott and Assumption, and then they just lose to Davenport West or something. So I can't even talk about those guys. So I appreciate that from you guys, by the way.
Gotta get sued by
that. Dang, my bad. I'm an intern. What are they gonna do?
So I do want to talk about last night's game, and you guys played Iowa City West. They have the McCaffrey. That's kind of one of those teams that Joey talked about. They have one kind of guy that can go out there and score. As we've seen in the past, the McCaffreys have always been just kind of the team that you can't look out or you can't undermine at all. They always seem to just make a run in the playoffs just because it's McCaffrey. Is there a certain game plan you guys played it? Is there you guys specifically isolate him and guard him last night, or what was that whole process like when you guys played the McCaffrey?
I mean, he's definitely at the top of the scouting report. I think he's their best overall player. So, I mean, he was the first focus, but we got to guard everyone else too. They're a good basketball team. They got a lot of good players besides him too.
For sure. You guys just take care of business about every single game. So they were up to number 2 in the state's rankings, and that was getting a little high for my liking. So bumped them down, kind of put them back in their place there. That's only their second loss, though, so you can't discredit that at all. The only other loss is to Linmar, who you guys, I believe, have played as well. So, but we gotta talk about too. I know we're talking about it right now. I just want to get your guys' thoughts. We all knew last year a similar story. I'd say this year's team, like you said, better than last year, more complete of a team. But regardless, still undefeated going into the season. Probably didn't play quite the schedule. Did play Valley earlier in the year last year. But just tell us about last year and kind of how that's fueled you guys for this year to be even better.
Our motto this year has been unfinished business since the first practice. And every practice, is kind of personal. Like we go into every practice hard, even if it's Saturday morning after we just played a game late Friday night, we're going into it the same as we go into every other practice. So we just keep working hard every practice, 1% better every day, and hope to get it done this year.
Yes, sir.
So you guys played Iowa City. You guys play City High. You mentioned was that Friday? You guys play City High Friday. And then you guys finished the season with Hudson and Xavier, a few 3A teams, and they're really good 3A teams at that. Hudson, I think, is bumped up to first in our spot. I don't know
They're 2A, but yeah, they're tough.
Or Hudson's 2A. Nobody else is producing rankings besides us that I see at this point. But they bumped up to first. Xavier, while may not be ranked super high, is also a really good team. So you guys have any thoughts on that? Maybe just more beatdowns. I know you guys don't want to really downplay any other teams, but you guys have anything on that you want to mention or talk about at all?
The Xavier game will be really fun. It's always fun battle 42nd Street. And then Joe Bean playing Xavier. It's a big game for him. He's really excited. Talks about it every day. So it'll be fun. It's a little rivalry, and it'll be a lot of fun. And Hudson's a good team too. Can't overlook them. Like 2A school, but a really solid team put together. So that'll also be a good game. It'll be a good finish for the regular season.
Did Joe Bean play at Xavier or something?
Yeah. This is his first year at Kennedy, and he was first team All-State last year. And
dang,
they lost in the championship at Xavier last year.
Lost to Bondurant, I think, last year. But they know how to get there too. So they're going to be a tough for somebody in a sub-state come for 3A. I got a question too. Okay, so you guys haven't lost any games. Do you guys ever have to run any killers or anything, or is it just like super easy practice all the time?
It's not easy. It's not easy. We don't run. We just have very intense practices. Like he never said like on the line unless we shoot free throws, and then if you miss, you got to run, hold yourself accountable for it. But other than that, we just go as hard as we can every drill, and then we just scrimmage each other and go as hard as we can. So it's like we get tired enough from that, and that's better conditioning than getting on the line, and it gets the job done in practice. So
yeah, it must. We didn't talk about it earlier. I wish I would have brought it up earlier. I wanted to get your guys' plans for next year. I know Trey, you're only a junior, but just from the couple seniors, what do you guys got cooking for next year? We're not sure yet.
I'm committed to Truman State, so I'm playing basketball at Truman next year.
Oh, let's go Bulldogs.
Yeah.
I'm going to Western to play football, and hopefully go to Western and then go to the next level.
JUCO?
Yeah.
Yes, sir, baby. I'm going JUCO, play some little golf. JUCO route, baby. We like Cam Newton. We're going to take it to the pros.
There we go.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Calm down. He goes too high. Calm it down.
I'm just saying, bro.
You said, I know very quickly, since Cyrus has yet to say anything here. You said you're going to play football. I guess it's just preference. You would rather play football, or you think you have a better chance going football, or why football and not basketball? You seem just as good in my opinion, at basketball, if not better. But I don't know. Maybe I'm slightly biased, or I don't know something here.
I think I am better at football, but I've always loved basketball growing up. So I just play basketball because I'm competitive and I love the game. But football is where my true love is.
You could go double sport though. Maybe you could play basketball there too.
That'd be tough.
That'd be tough. You guys maybe we get a little sneak peek. Where's our boy Nick Brooks head to next year? We're not sure yet.
You can't.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, we'll keep.
We don't know.
Oh, we'll maybe talk about that a little bit after the podcast is over. But I just knew that he's maybe thinking about something different. Are you guys Hawk fans over in Cedar Rapids for the most part then too?
Yeah, I'm a Hawk fan. Sorry,
yeah, dang, bro. Got the Iowa State. I got Iowa State too. Big win last night, Jack.
That was fantastic. It was awesome.
Put the grave
suit, but
yeah. We can't go too hard on Terry's Hunter, but I saw some bad Instagram comments, man.
I did too. It's been a rough night for Iowa fans too, seeing that we won. Iowa City lost. Rough.
Ooh, not looking good. Well,
Joey, you can go ahead.
No, go ahead. I didn't have anything.
Do you guys have any teams? I know you guys have the playoffs coming up. Do you guys have any teams you're scared to play in the playoffs? I mean, maybe not scared, but you guys are hopefully I don't play these guys. Hopefully we don't get seeded with these guys. So is there any team like that you're really worried about, or you think could maybe make a run that you don't want to be placed in the same seed as? Or you guys kind of just any team will play any team, we can beat any team mindset?
I feel like we got to respect everybody. So no matter who we play, we got to come at it with the same approach that it's the best team that we're going to play all year.
Yeah, maybe if you guys were going to play the Iowa Wolves or something, there'd be a little bit of a comp there. But I mean, it's really fun to watch you guys. I got to watch a couple games. I just throw them on there while I'm doing this prep. I just watch the games. Just watching you guys just destroy Valley, just get up and down the court really well. You guys play as it's like one player, and that's the whole team. Every 5 people that are on the floor, it's like one player to me. That's not individuals out there. You guys play such good defense together, and that like leads to your offense. So it's pretty insane to watch you guys just destroy all these teams that we know are good. It's going to be fun to watch come postseason. So, well, we're going to get you keep going. If you got more questions, you got more questions. I love it.
I was just going to make a comment, but if you want
to you're good.
I just wanted to make a quick comment. I mean, the thing that I like about when I watch Kennedy, I watch you guys at the Waukee, whatever event that I don't really know the MVIC, whatever it's called. I watch you guys there, and I've watched a couple other games. So I watch the Valley. I'm big on Valley too, just because I've seen them play and know how good they are. Just because they're so young and they're a really good team. But the difference between you guys and like a Valley team is the same thing we mentioned earlier. It's you guys have so many players that can go out there and make a play, which is so big here in high school basketball when you have a ton of guys that can go out there. We see so many teams like Ankeny where we have Carson Johnson, or you have like a Luke Winkle, and those guys are averaging 20s, right? And they're really good, and it's hard to stop those guys. But when you have a team like Ankeny where if you shut that one dude down, you manage to slow him down, the team's not going to perform as well, which is why I just think it's great watching Kennedy. You guys, like we said earlier, nobody averages more than 15. So you see 4 or 5 different guys go out there, put up double-digit points, and it's hard to stop everybody when you have to game plan for every single person on the team. Right. This is a slight comment I was going to make before Joey cut me off, but it is entertaining watching you guys play. So I'm also excited for the postseason, see how far you guys – I think this year, like I said, a lot of people hate on Kennedy just because you guys aren't in the CIML. So I'm excited to see, and I think you guys won't lose another game at this point, but maybe I'm speaking ahead of myself here.
Yeah, better knock on wood after that comment.
Yeah, geez, Jack, you put all your cards right on the table, bro. Bro's all in.
I'm slightly biased at the current moment, but
it's hard not to. I mean, yeah, it's really fun. So we're looking forward to that.
On me, I'll take the blame if you guys lose.
Jack, that's a big burden for you. I don't know if you can hold all that.
I get blamed anyway. It's fine.
You got so much going on, dude. You got homework to do after this. We got to cut the podcast short for you too.
Yeah. I don't have a JUCO route like you do. Okay, I got to work for my money.
You're sleeping on it, bro. You're sleeping on the JUCO route. I'm telling you, Jack. You could have went there too. You just decided not to. Doesn't love the grind.
I'm not playing golf in college.
Come on, it's not even a sport. Let's be honest here. Okay. Are we ready to? We're gonna get through some games from the past week, especially just here in 4A. We're just gonna kind of run through a few. We have a couple of your guys' games on here as well. So we went back to January 29th. I think that Sunday before the 28th is when we did our last podcast. Centennial defeated North 82-51. North had been playing pretty good. They had shown a couple signs. They beat Roosevelt beat Waukee, which was pretty big upset. We know Waukee's good, but they're kind of hit or miss too. So you guys played Wahlert Catholic that day, 71-26. So I don't know if you guys got anything, even remember that game or not, just another one added in the win column.
No, that was the end of our 4 games in 5 days.
Oh, yeah.
It was a long stretch. Our legs were definitely feeling it. And Wahlert, they're a good team, and they had a good student section going, and it was a good environment to be in, and we were ready for that game. It was definitely remember that one.
Do you prep any differently for like a 4 games in 5? Did you guys prep differently, like maybe less practice and rest more? Or like did you have one day off in that day where you're that one solo day in that 5-day span? Did you have a day off at all, or is there any separate prep or what?
Yeah, we just had film one of the days and on Sunday. Yeah. But yeah, other than that, and then the scout obviously has to be a little shorter because we're going back-to-back games, and so we had to watch film the day of shoot around because we shoot around the day of games. So usually we watch film the night before, but we couldn't obviously because we had a game, so we had to do it the day of shoot around. So things were getting compacted, and it was a lot mentally and physically, but it'll be really good for us in the future because that's just how state is. So it's gonna be the same thing.
Yeah, we have
right.
you guys forced 24 turnovers that game. It's actually kind of crazy. But
Woof.
it's a rough game.
That's nuts. That's a lot of turnovers. Probably not making they probably ran after that game. I'm almost sure of that. So that was an away game. What do we got for the away game meals? You know, when you're on the bus ride, I'm assuming we're getting a meal or two. What do we got cooking for that?
We got Jersey Mike's on the way there, and on the way back we get pizzas. So
Dang.
yeah, that good.
What kind of pizza though?
Whatever.
Is it depends? Like kind of just like whatever on the.
Yeah. That's fair.
I'll be on the
Nice, I guess.
So it looks like January 30th, that following day, Ankeny loses to Valley at home, 67-48. Since came back, Carson Johnson was not in there. He had something with his hand that he was out, which was kind of rough, but it was close. I was there for that game too. It was close for most of the game, but Valley pulled away. Council Bluffs Jefferson 54 over Council Bluffs Lincoln. I think that's a rivalry game there. 54-47. Jefferson took that one. Dubuque Senior and Xavier went at it. 50-36. Senior took that one. I'm not really surprised by that by any means, but Muscatine and Assumption, that was a big game. I think we all had Assumption thinking we were going to take that one over Muscatine. I'm not saying Muscatine's. Well, I'm not going to say that.
Wait, Muscatine
13, Jack.
Muscatine beat Assumption?
Yeah, Muscatine beat Assumption 50-47.
That's what I'm saying. That's why we need to get rid of the Mississippi Athletic, bro.
Don't say
No, I'm kidding. They got some talent over there. They do. It's just hard to like look at those teams like Assumption and North Scott because early in the season we weren't really sure if they're like legit because they play so many teams from Illinois and Wisconsin, so it's really hard to like tell. And people were just like really on us that, Assumption's this good, even though they had like 4 losses or something. And now they're just kind of like dropping games, but they're still good. We know they're good. They're only a 3A team too. North Scott will be tough in somebody's sub-state as well, but I think they lost a couple games on here as well. So that's just all I got to. People were really on, like they thought Assumption was that best team in 4A. It seemed like they were talking about them so highly. So they just put them to rest.
We got so much hate and we didn't put them in our top.
That was horrible.
Unreal. And then we also had North Scott losing to PV that week, 53-36. North Scott. 53. We're not going to talk about that either. That's a pretty bad loss for or not a bad loss, but it wasn't close by any means.
PV's heating up though. That's kind of your guys'.
They are.
That's the nemesis number one right there.
All right.
Sore subject, but no. If you guys get a crack at them, that'll be fun to watch. Just see that go on again. So they got up to number 9 in the state's ranking as well. So they're playing pretty good as of late.
I don't know about that, but Waukee Northwest moves up to number 10. They beat Johnston by 1 point. Oh my gosh, 37-36. Apparently nobody knows how to play offense in that game. We have Cedar Rapids Kennedy again. You guys beat Waterloo West 85-43. Oh my. Cyrus and Trey, you guys both had 7. Driven, you had 24 that night. Went 5 for 8 from the 3. Yeah, so we see more of your 3 ball there. Is that like a casual night for you? Is that like where you just whatever nonchalantly went back, gave your parents a hug, so thanks for coming to the game, and you went to sleep that night? Like, what was that if you're going 5 for 8 from 3?
Well, I had 19 in the first half, so
oh my gosh,
we were just everything was clicking for everybody that game. Like it was just the ball was ended up in my hands, and they weren't stepping out on the 3, and so I had to let it go. Like,
guard me, man.
Yeah, right.
Do you like talk trash? Like when they don't step up, do you like tell them to step up before you take the shot? Like that's what I do, right? Like when I get hot and they leave me open, that's what I'm doing.
Jack, everybody should leave you open, bro.
Jay, shut up. You don't do nothing like that. Do you guys talk any trash in your games? Like, do you guys actually?
Cyrus, dude. That's all Cyrus.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's kind of funny. They both point him at the same time. He's so quiet. And in that same week, we had DCG beat Norwalk 68-49. Also, I'm not surprised about that anyway. DCG is actually a really good team. They dropped out of the top 10 for the city or for the state for some reason. I don't know why. They're a really good team. They beat Ankeny as well. Don't know how that happened. Yeah. But then the first week of February, we had Ames beat North going North, which really big loss for North there. North was on fire for a little bit. They looked like a really good team. I know Paul had mentioned he liked them a lot, but Ames is not a good team, and so
dude, what? They have the number 2 defense right behind them. I mean, obviously their offense isn't quite as good. They're just pretty athletic and work hard on defense, but they're gonna not be fun for somebody to play against because they work hard. I mean, you guys are the same way. It's no fun to play against a team that works hard on defense. There's no breaks. I mean, all 10 guys or everybody that's playing on your team can guard, so you never get any breaks. And Ames is kind of that same way. They just don't have the offensive abilities that you guys have. But that's a big win for them. I think they have another win that we talked about as well. And then the last one on there that we had for the first, DCG beat Pella. Pella's been hot, a 3A team, but DCG plays a lot of 3A teams. They beat Norwalk. That's a 4A team, but they play a lot of 3A teams that are good.
Right now. What's Jackson Green averaging for DCG right now?
Oh,
a
good amount, dude. He shoots a gazillion wide open layups.
Really?
Well, they just like
DCG game yet.
We're not.
He gets out. He's like kind of like not gonna say he like cherry picks, but he's got a little Chino Hills in him or something. He's just out there. He's like by himself half the time, just shooting right-handed layups. I watched I got to broadcast one of their games where they beat Carroll by like about 40. So he just shoots a gazillion layups.
At the current moment,
Are you looking at
he's averaging 16 at the moment.
Come on, Green.
I actually expect a little bit higher, but
yeah, they didn't make the state's ranking. Yeah, they didn't make the state's ranking or our ranking somehow. I think I had them in there, but it must have not been enough.
I didn't.
She just lied. Okay, well, we'll get into these February 2nd games. We're kind of getting to the end here. Sioux City East, who we know has been hot, they took out Waukee at the second CIML they're not the CIML MVC showcase. That's what we thought it was, and they're obviously not in either of those conferences, but they played Waukee. I don't know what's up with that. They kind of handled Waukee. Waukee's pretty hit or miss, but they got a couple good players. Fitzy Grant's averaging 15 and 6 rebounds, and then a couple other players. They only have 3 of their top 4 scorers are underclassmen, so they're not graduating a whole ton. They'll be good for the next couple of years, is what we're thinking. And then you guys played on the 2nd as well, played crosstown rival Jefferson, about put up 60 on them. All right, 91-33. Oh, my gosh. You guys had 34 points in the first quarter. What?
I want to make it known that like 34 points almost outscored whatever the Waukee Northwest game you mentioned like 20 seconds ago.
Oh, my gosh.
Kennedy almost put up more points in the first quarter against Jefferson than Waukee Northwest did an entire game. I'm going to make that known.
Oh, my gosh. Well, that's crazy, the amount of points you guys can put up. I mean, Jefferson obviously struggling a little bit this year, but regardless, that's an impressive amount. Iowa City West defeated Iowa City Liberty, a little bit of a new rivalry game with Liberty being a newer school, but nevertheless a rivalry game. Xavier beat Linn-Mar. Linn-Mar kind of struggling a little bit here once they got to the meat of their schedule. Davis Kern is really he's been struggling to find his role players there. It's basically him, and then it falls off pretty hard. So he's a talented player, but hasn't had a whole ton of help. And then this is a game, Jack.
Owen Havlicek took it for him. He's good too.
Oh yeah, they're just struggling a little bit. Xavier's had a good player though. Tyler Netalaki. Ooh, I think I'm saying that right. He had 20 points, 14 rebounds. I'm probably saying that wrong. You guys maybe know.
Netalaki.
How do you say that?
Netalaki. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I looked up his Instagram. He's got a giraffe in his Instagram bio, so I'm assuming he's a tall man. That's whack. Well, Jack, you tell us about this next game because you were probably there in attendance.
Of course I was. Yeah, so Ankeny upsets, I guess kind of an upset. Centennial 76-63 at Ankeny Hawks out the south side. So I guess when you're at Ankeny, though, everything, no matter where you are, whether it's a rivalry game for Gilbert or Ankeny, it's going to be a home game for both teams if you're that close. Just considering when it's an inner city rivalry, it's just going to be both teams there. It's going to be 50-50, which I actually think would be a good question too. But Carson Johnson comes back for the first night. He drops 38 points and hits 5 for 7 from 3 with 8 rebounds with like part of his thumb torn open. I don't know how he did it, but he played. I mean, Carson Johnson is probably the best player in the state, in my opinion. He's averaging the most in 4A. I've seen him play all the time. He's really good. He's one of the guys that I think is just not going to drop. He's not going to not drop 20 points every night. Like he's almost guaranteed to drop 20 points almost every night after seeing what he's doing. Luke Winkle for Centennial dropped 37, went 6 for 10 from deep, and a few of those came at the very end of the game. But 2 really good performances. Ankeny, it was actually really back and forth. Ankeny started out super hot. They went on like a 12-0 run at the start of the game, and then Centennial kind of brought it back. They had a lead for a while, and it was back and forth, and then Ankeny kind of pulled away. But good win for Ankeny. I think they popped back up in the state and our rankings. I think they're 8th now. So Centennial and Ankeny split in their 2 rivalries this year, both going 1-for-1 at their own home court. So good game to watch. It was fun to be there for probably my last time watching that game, but good game.
Okay, well, we'll just finish things up here. We had Johnston beat Waukee. Waukee's lost a lot of these games. I mean, they just like play really, really crappy some of these games. They lost by almost 20, is 66-4, or they did lose by 20, 66-45 to Johnston, which Johnston's tough. I mean, they play a lot of competition, so we know they're good. And then what'd you say?
It's a Dalen.
Oh, yeah.
Don't count him out. You know what's funny is they started their losing streak right after they lost to Kennedy in that tournament. All of a sudden, they're on a downhill trend. They beat Valley the night before, and they go onto the road and play Kennedy, and all of a sudden, look what happens.
Uh-oh. Well, we're going to go through the rest of these games here. Ames actually beat Dowling, so maybe they're for real. 60-58. Dowling obviously isn't one of the best teams in CML, but they have a couple wins. They beat Waukee too, so that's a win against Waukee. Sioux City East took out number 1 and still number 1 Western Christian, 77-55. Western Christian, a 2A team, but they're extremely talented. They play in the state championship about every year in 2A, so they're really good. And then we had these Monday games. Another one that you can maybe talk about, Jack, Ankeny and Johnston.
Yeah, I wasn't there. This one, I figured Johnson was going to lose.
Never mind.
Yeah, no. I mean, it says here Rio. He's a sophomore. He's really good. He plays for Mexican national team, I think. He dropped 24. Leo, his brother, dropped 18. Ankeny shot 9 for 17 from 3, apparently. Ankeny doesn't normally shoot that well unless somebody like Rio or Carson starts going crazy, but I guess 9 for 17 isn't. It's about 30%. But when you get Ankeny hot like that and they start shooting really well, it's kind of hard to beat that team. So Johnston is not a bad team by any means. They're a very dangerous team if they get hot, but looks like Ankeny might be proving themselves to stay inside that top 10 and maybe get a higher seed in the tournament here.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll round things out here. Norwalk beat Pella. Pella's taken a little bit of a beating here by the 4A schools. And then yesterday we had Ankeny Christian with a close win against Southeast Polk, 11 points. So maybe not as close, but Southeast Polk played them tough. I looked at the score through the few quarters. I think they kind of blew it out in the 4th quarter, but it was close most of the game. DCG beat Pella Christian. Pella Christian, we know, is a good 2A team. And then the last one, we had the battle again between Valley and Waukee, but Valley kind of handled them this time, 76-62. No stats from Valley in yet, but Mason Costello had 20 points for the Warriors. So they split on the year. All right, Jack, we want to hit our rapid fire questions, let these boys get out of here?
Yeah, so real quick, Joey made a few rapid fire questions. This might be a part of our thing if we continue to do this with more people, but he had a few, so we'll just kind of quickly go through one by one. You guys can kind of just go down the line or whatever you guys want to do. So first one is, what is your favorite song at the current moment? Probably be a Gunna song.
Yeah, I'll go South or West Gunna.
My boy.
I got 2 days into college, but I don't even know that girl. It's been stuck in my head on repeat. That's all I can sing, bro. It's stuck in my head.
I would say Teenage Fever by Drake.
Okay. Is there, you guys have like a favorite school lunch at all, Kennedy? What's your favorite school lunch?
I like spicy chicken.
I have never had school lunch in my high school career, so I pack my own lunch.
Dang.
You've never had it? You've never had it?
No, I never. I'm vegetarian, so there's usually like not many options for me. So I bring my own lunch.
Probably Friday. We have walk and taco every Friday, so that's max.
So, all right, what's the greatest Jordan shoe ever made?
I'll go 11s.
Yeah, 11s for sure.
I would say the 4s.
4s? All right.
Yep. That's what I'm talking about. 4s are up. That's what I'm talking about.
Get out of here. Favorite basketball player? I just get whatever.
Favorite basketball, LeBron.
Well,
Jordan.
All right.
My favorite basketball player right now is probably Shea.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah,
I respect that.
He's actually going crazy. He's
a stud.
Yeah,
he's a stud.
You think he won that? You think they won that trade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not if the Clippers win. If the Clippers win, I'm a Clippers fan. I'm a Clippers fan.
Man,
if the Clippers win this year, then they won.
You like the worst teams known to man. You actually like the worst team ever.
I'm a Vikings fan. Everybody knows that I'm a Vikings fan, bro. They're never gonna win anything. But if the Clippers win this year, I'm telling you.
Okay. All right, well, we'll let you guys go. I know me and Joe are going to stay on for a little bit and talk about a few more things that you guys probably can't comment on. You guys are going to get in trouble. So we'll let you guys go. Thanks for coming on. It was awesome to talk with you guys. We'll have to set up the 3v3 basketball. We'll record that. Or maybe not. I don't know. Footage might get deleted. Depends on what happens. But yeah. We should come down sometime. We might hit at the links a little bit.
Yes,
me
sir.
and Joey will show you what we're good at. We'll let you know. I'm actually excited. Apparently Trey knows how to golf. So
yeah,
Trey's gonna show up.
Yeah, we're trying to show off over there in the group chat. But
what can I say?
All right. Well, it was good talking to you guys. You guys have a great rest of your night. Good luck with the rest of your season. If I jinxed you guys, I'm sorry. That was not the goal. But might have jinxed y'all. But
all right. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Hey, that was awesome, guys. See ya.
See ya.
All right. Well, that was sweet. I think that went about as good as I thought. It was fun, but
it wasn't bad. Like for how new it is, and just trying to walk through quickly and barely setting this up. Poor on us, but it went pretty well. I'd say it went pretty well. I don't know. We'll have to see if people enjoy it and we get a few more views, and we'll bring some more people on. But
yeah, it's different too. Like we're doing this, obviously. Blake's not here, and that's the first time we podcast without Blake, so that doesn't help the dynamic even at all. So I think it went pretty well. I think hopefully something that maybe people will drive a little bit more viewership to. That's kind of the goal of this. Eventually, we want to make this like our YouTube, where we can kind of post some more content, post some more things out for you guys, just to celebrate high school sports in Iowa, which we like high school sports. So
yeah, that's our whole goal is to help promote high school. I mean, that's the whole point of the company and stuff. So whether you guys hate us or not, that's what we're kind of here to do. So
we're trying to do good.
Yeah, we're trying.
Okay, well, we're going to look at for the rest of the show, we're going to look at our rankings here for 4A. We're going to run through some 3A scores, look at those rankings, and then we're going to give a quick preview of the 2A, 1A state sub-state brackets. We're going to do a better sub-state kind of overview maybe on Monday when the 3A and 4A brackets come out. We might give some predictions with Blake and Paul if we can get Paul on here. So we'll just run through these quick. We're going to look at the state association rankings first. They had Kennedy first, obviously. They had Iowa City West second. Then Valley, Sioux City East, Dubuque Senior, Cedar Falls, Waukee, Ankeny Centennial. Then PV sneaks in at the 9th spot. First time they've been ranked since the beginning of the season. And then Northwest at the 10. The only really difference is that the two teams at the bottom, PV and Waukee Northwest, were not in our rankings, the bound rankings. We had Ankeny in there at the 8th spot. And then Council Bluffs Jefferson snuck in at our 10th spot. But the state's rankings are going to change a little bit after Iowa City's loss. And maybe Waukee with a couple losses there as well. So what do you got any thoughts there, Jack?
Yeah, I mean, just quick. I think we've seen it all year. It's kind of hardened a little bit down to the 6th and 7th spot. But for the most part, I think we can comfortably say that 8 to 10 spot is kind of open to whoever. You see those teams that are down there in that 8 to 10 spot. And if they lose, they're out. And whoever's kind of there just substitutes in. It's just constantly rotating. I like Ankeny. I'm also biased a little bit towards Ankeny since I go there, but I think Ankeny is a really good team when they get going, when they're fully healthy. And Carson was out for a few games, and he kind of hurt not having there when you don't have the best arguably the best player in state on your team is out, it's kind of hard to win then. But they still put up a good fight against Valley. I really like Ankeny a lot. Again, bias, but and then I think that 10 spot. Who did we give it to? Who did we give it to?
We had Council Bluffs Jefferson in our 10.
I mean, yeah, that's not even like that bad. I mean, like I said, we've said it all year. It can kind of go to anybody, you know. So
yeah, we both had DCG, I think, in there, that 10 spot. They've had a couple big wins. Norwalk's a team that could fit in there, and then Northwest and PV been playing well. So we'll get started here with 3A. There's a few big games here, a lot of big Raccoon River games, just because, in my opinion, the Raccoon River is the Big 12 of 3A basketball. The caliber team, they just beat up on, like, ADM's lost a game in here, but we'll just run through these quick. All the way back to the 29th, North Polk beat your Ankeny Christian Hawks. Sad to see, or the Eagles. They might be the Eagles. Sad to see that. I think they're the Eagles as well. That wouldn't make sense if they had the Ankeny Hawks and the Ankeny Christian Hawks. But
I think they're the Eagles.
All right. Well, then we had ADM beat Carroll. Carroll's on a little bit of a slug here to finish the season, trying to get things picked back up. Winterset beat Harlan 79-52. Harlan's a good team over there in Western Iowa, so that's a big win for Winterset. Newton beat Nevada. Newton's kind of gotten beat up in the Little Hawkeye a little bit. They're only 7-10, but they beat Nevada, who's the best team, one of the best teams in the heart of Iowa, and they have been ranked in our rankings for a while. They've dropped out now with a couple losses. But yeah, that's a big win for Newton. And then we're going to jump to the 30th here. Ballard defeated Gilbert. I got to commentate this game. Ballard got out really hot. Jackson Brown, he had 23 points. I'm pretty sure he had 12 in the first quarter. He was lights out from 3 to start the game. So they just got out hot. They kind of got a player back in Miles Mudd. He's pretty 100% now, coming back from an ACL. So that helps. They're getting dangerous, peaking at the right time. Then we had Bondurant beat Carroll. And then Winterset beat North Polk. So that finishes out that. But the Raccoon River, you're going to see here, North Polk's going to pick up some wins against some good teams. February 1st, ADM beat Gilbert, and then Bondurant beat Winterset. There wasn't a whole ton of games across the state that were close games for non-Raccoon River teams, just from every team on here is good. But like we said, Bondurant beats Winterset here, and Winterset later, actually yesterday, beat ADM, and we know ADM is crazy solid. So you want to go through these February 2nd games here?
I had quickly. So Solon, who's ranked pretty hard, I think they're second in our ranking, or third in our rankings, beat Mount Vernon 56-46. Jake Benzing drops 20 there. Good win for Solon. North Polk again beats Ballard, who has been a pretty good team and pretty high in our rank, or not high, but they've been like 6 or 7. They've been solid in our rankings all year. I like Ballard a lot. I think everybody else does here too. But Reggie Postal drops 38 for North Polk, which is probably, I mean, it's over half their points for pulling them to that win over Ballard, at Ballard too. So good win there. Or wait, I don't know.
Yeah, it was at Ballard, so that's a good one too.
Yeah.
Reggie's he's an all-stater, so he's definitely got talent. I'll get this next one. My boys, come on. I'm representing the shirt tonight. Gilbert takes off Bondurant. Bondurant, I think I snuck him in there. Yeah. Oh, real quick. Yeah. No, I think I snuck Bondurant in my rankings maybe last week or the week before. They're really good. They have a really talented player at Tanner Berggren, but they struggle a little bit when they kind of can shut down the role players, and that's what Gilbert did. Just played really good defense and shut down the other guys. We talked about it, like we said, with the Kennedy boys. If you have kind of that one player and then there's not really an even distribution of scoring, you're really vulnerable. When a team that's pretty balanced, like Gilbert doesn't have a whole ton of like super high scores. They're pretty balanced. They can play really good a lot of games. They don't like hit or miss like a Waukee team. So.
Mm-hmm. Then we got Harlan upsets, or not upsets, but they beat Lewis Central 63-54.
That's an upset.
I just didn't want to go out there and just straight up say I don't like this. And
Lewis Central was ranked in our rankings at one point too.
Ranked,
so
they weren't ranked super high, but yes, they were ranked. Harlan has not been ranked. Oh, they might have been at the start of the year, but not really. They haven't really been up in our rankings much at all lately. That's a good win at Lewis Central, 63-54 for them. MOC beats Unity Christian 71-62. Jesse Van Kalsbeek, I probably mispronounced that, but he drops a double-double, 31-15. Great performance. You know, we see a lot of 30-point performances, or maybe not a ton, but like it's more common than obviously 40 and 50 points. But still seeing 30-point performances in high school when you're only dropping 50, 40, maybe 60, 70 points is pretty impressive in high school, especially when they're not super high scoring. So good performance.
Yeah, that's a good win too for MOC. Unity Christian, I don't know if we're going to talk about them a whole ton. They were the ones that knocked off West Lion, and West Lion's been the number one on everybody's rankings for the whole year. I actually watched that game on my live stream on YouTube. Unity Christian played really well. They played some hard defense. West Lion's got this 1-3-1 zone, and they just kind of, or 1-3-1 press that they just kind of ran up and down the court on them and ran them out of the gym. So that was a really big win for Unity Christian, and then a bigger win for MOC. So
yeah. I mean, MOC has kind of been on our ratings the whole time too. They've been up in our rankings all year, and so it was good. I kind of wanted to put them up there in my rankings for a little while, but I just never really could. I couldn't really justify any super large wins for them, and so seeing this, I think I'm pretty high up there now. I think they're like third or not, maybe not third, but they're pretty high up now, fourth or fifth maybe in our rankings. So it's good to see them get up there. Pella Christian beats Pella in a rivalry match 67-54 there to round out the 2nd of February. Moving on to the 3rd of February here, we got Cheriton beats Clark.
That's an upset.
16-3. Yeah, again, I just don't like saying it, but upsets Clark's, who was 16-3, 79-74 at Clark.
Yeah, Clark's a team too. I think somebody had them in on their rankings, one of those 9 or 10 spots in there on the 3A rankings. So they've been playing well. Cheriton, home of TJ Hawkinson. I don't know if you knew that, but my brother actually played against him in high school in football game one time. That was pretty crazy to see that. But that's a huge one. And then this next one is even crazier win.
Yeah.
I kind of didn't even see it. Cascade 60, Decorah 57. Decorah, they don't get a ton of comp up there. They've won a couple big games. They actually do win a big game in the next one we talk about, but they have the one loss to Waverly and now a loss to Cascade, which is a 2A team, I believe, maybe a 1A team. Still, Cascade's tough. So,
yeah, it's just, again, it's kind of weird. Like they were undefeated, and now they've lost 2 games here in the span of, well, maybe not in the span, but I guess they lost to Waverly at the start of January. So it's been a little bit. It's been like a month, but I mean, they were looking hot all year, and then the Waverly loss wasn't really that bad of a loss considering how good Waverly was, but it was like a 30-point loss, which was not good. But we still had them up there pretty high. So now after this, it's I don't know, like Cascade, I'm not saying they're a bad team by any means, but when you're a top team and in 3A like Decorah is, it's kind of hard to justify you being up there when you're going to lose to a lower ranking team. So that's a big win for Cascade, a really big loss for Decorah. We'll see how that affects them in the tournament coming up here. I don't know what just happened.
I don't know.
I just lost my spot too. Go ahead. You might take over.
We had Denison struggled a little bit this year. Schleswig, they had a win against Carroll. Carroll's also struggled a little bit too. Jake Fink had 17 points for the Monarchs, so that's a big win for them. We'll round things out here at the past 2 days. This was this is a Monday game. Decorah came all the way down to Wells Fargo for a regular season game. That's crazy. That's like 3.5 hours.
I think the second or third time Wells Fargo has now held a regular season game this year. One of them was the Perry game, which I think was like a fundraiser thing. So that kind of
count. That's cool.
Well, yeah, which was awesome. I loved being there. That was fun. Really cool environment. But I've seen more teams kind of go out to Wells Fargo now, which is kind of interesting. But having a team like Decorah and Winterset there is a little weird.
It's crazy that. Yeah, I don't know how they got
on a Monday
to make
too.
On a Monday, it's
kind of weird, but
I like that they're playing games there, though. I really always thought that, like, not that Hilton or Carver should host games, but I think it's cool, like, when something happens, like a big game, a rivalry game that's played there. I think that's always cool stuff. So Decorah won 70-53. That's a huge win. Winterset's been crazy hot as of late. Cale LaFrance, the sophomore, he had 23 points. For Decorah, they held Winterset, who is a really big 3-point shooting team, to 5 for 23. So that's a huge win for the Vikings after coming off a disappointing loss to Cascade. So we'll finish things out. Clear Lake beat Grinnell. Sorry to Blake, he's not in here, but he's a Grinnell Tiger through and through. ADM beat Ballard 67-41. I mean, Ryland Steinsmith had 16, 9, and 5. So this destroyed Ballard, who he knows good. ADM just proven that they're dominant here. Gilbert, another win. We took out Carroll. Carroll's been struggling. They're 1-8 in their last 9 games, but we knew they were hot at the beginning of the year. They have a great player in Evan Hammer, so they'll be tough come sub-state, but a big win for my Tigers. And then Waverly Shell Rock beat Marion 76-58. Marion's a team that was ranked by the association not by us. I don't think they may have snuck in there.
We had them in there.
We did. Okay, well, we did have them in there. So, but that's a big win for Waverly too, just kind of solidifying themselves as that we're a better team than we were at the beginning of the year when they lost to Clear Lake, and I believe Xavier is their other loss.
Yeah.
And then the games yesterday, we had Clear Creek Amana beat Williamsburg, Denison, another win. They beat my Kemper Knights. I'm a fan of the Kemper Knights, 63-61. So a 3A loss for Kemper. I mean, a 3A loss when you're a 2A team, it means something, but it doesn't mean as much as a 2A loss when you're a 2A team. So regardless, they already got their postseason assignments. It doesn't mean as much to them. And then North Polk beat Bondurant. North Polk struggled a little bit, and Bondurant has been pretty good as of late, 55-45 over them. Nevada, we do want to talk about this a little bit. Nevada beats PCM kind of on some last-second free throws. We saw a tweet about this, didn't we, Jack?
Yeah, I think you and I kind of argued about it a little bit. Yeah, very briefly. I don't know if anybody really actually saw this, because I guess if we're talking about 3A, I'm sure some people saw it, but it was very controversial. It was like tied 63-63 with like 7 seconds left, and some shooting foul, which should not have been a shooting foul, was called. I mean, he was passing the ball to somebody else, and they called a shooting foul on it. I personally don't think there should have been any call at all. We can go back and forth. The same thing as the Waukee Valley half-court shot. I mean, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, when you have something like that, I think at the end of the day, it's mostly like the teams just seem to be even that game. And you, like, whether you put it on a win or a loss, like, should they have won? Maybe, maybe not. Should they, like, it should have been a foul? Maybe, maybe not. There's nothing you can do about it. So, but
yeah,
the teams being 63-63 up until 7 seconds, it's just really even battle. So
that's a good game for PCM though too. Like, I wouldn't want to play a team like PCM who just competed with Nevada, who's won a ton of games. So good play by both those guys. It could have went either way, but that's just where the cookie crumbled. Winterset with the upset of the week, probably 80-70 over ADM, who hadn't had a conference loss yet. Their only loss before this was to DCG. I believe that was the season opener too. I watched this game. Winterset was just lights out from deep. 13 for 27. They play a tough defense too. They play a 2-3, so they can get guys out in those top two guards out in transition really quick. They're not really defensive rebounding, but they shot lights out from three. So good job by them. They knocked off ADM. I don't think ADM's necessarily phased. I mean, they just knew it was coming at some point. They wanted to go undefeated in the conference, but I mean, that's pretty tall task. And Bondurant did it last year. That's just crazy to believe. And then our last game that we had down there was Clear Lake beat Humboldt 80-67. Clear Lake was down by 7 at half to Humboldt, and Humboldt's a solid team, but Clear Lake maybe showing a little bit of signs of not playing their best come the postseason. We'll see. They did get things done with a 13-point win, so we can't discredit that at all. But just maybe a little bit more vulnerable than we thought.
I mean, you can also tell though. You could say the opposite thing though of like resilience. Like, you see them and they're not playing well, but all of a sudden they come back down 9 and they win the half by, what is that, 14 points? No, 24 points. Sorry. 24. So they win the half by 24 points and shut down Humboldt to make a comeback. I don't know. You can go either way. Maybe they're not playing well, but it also shows that they can come back at halftime and upset. So yeah, I would never count.
They're like, there's a reason they're number one in everybody's rankings too. So, well, we'll go through the 3A rankings real quick. We're going to look at the state association. They had Clear Lake 1, ADM 2, then Waverly, Solon, Decorah, Marion, MOC, Ballard, Clear Creek, Amana. They had snuck in there at number 9. And then number 10 was Winterset. Pretty similar. They're, like we said, it's kind of those bottom few can get things changed a little bit. Towards the end. So we had Lewis. Do we have Lewis Central ranked this week, or am I looking at the wrong thing there?
Actually, I'm not going to say anything. You can continue real quick and look.
No, we did have Lewis Central ranked. So that may change things a little bit. A couple of those may drop. Marion maybe with next week's rankings, and MOC maybe go up a little bit. Ballard maybe drop into Decorah maybe. So there may be, I said maybe a lot. There's going to be some change there at the top. Clear Lake's going to stay probably the number 1. Solon will probably move up, and then Waverly is going to move up as well with a win over Marion. So there's going to be some changes, but we're getting close to the postseason. Things are kind of starting to settle down a little bit. Some teams are getting hot. Some teams aren't playing as well, so they got to get things figured out. I think Monday is the day we're going to get to see those 3A and the 4A brackets, hopefully sometime in the afternoon. But regardless, let's run through our 2A, 1A brackets real quick. I think they have like the first round games coming up on, I believe it's Friday maybe. I'm not 100% sure, but we should be able to talk about it. Should be that they kind of play like a little play-in game for the first one and then another round as well. So if we start with 2A, we have Substate 1. This is a pretty good one. West Lyon and Unity Christian got paired together. They played twice. I think West Lyon took the first matchup, but Unity Christian takes this one. So that'll be interesting to see them. Emmitsburg's in there as well. They beat South O'Brien, and we know they're talented. So that'll be fun to see. The second bracket, Western Christian, they got ELC. We know they're good, really good with Owen Larson. And Osage, who was undefeated for a long time. This third substate, I think that Hudson got pretty lucky here. The next best team in their substate is MFL Marmac, and I guess they are the number one team in the state's eyes, or the association's eyes, so they deserve that. MFL Marmac went to state last year, but haven't been the same this year. So we'll see how that plays out for the Pirates. Substate number 4, Cascade's in there. This is a pretty tough one. I feel bad for West Burlington, to be honest. They're undefeated, and they got Cascade, who just beat Decorah, Monticello, who's beat Cascade, and West Branch, who they beat a couple of good teams as well.
West Branch is not in our ranking. I don't think they're 2A rankings either for the association, but they're
tough.
But yeah, they're a really good team, so you can't undermine them. West Burlington really kind of got screwed over with their. At the end of the day, they're 16-0, so you can't say if they're really going to be a legit team, they got to go through tough teams too to make it there. So it's no easy road getting to the Wells Fargo. Whatever.
2A is pretty loaded. Everywhere you look, there's good teams, but you also can't have teams traveling too far. There's just a lot of good teams in that area. Where like Cascade over in Eastern Iowa, like a lot of those teams are just talented over there. So they kind of have to group some of the better ones together. Whereas Hudson didn't get quite as good because the region, just the talent isn't there quite as much. Well, we'll get with the last 4 here. Substate number 5, Pella Christian gets paired with Regina. Pella Christian is really tough. They play one of the hardest schedules in 2A. Regina's had a couple big wins as well. One of their losses is actually to West Branch, as I'm looking at it too. So that'll be good. I'm assuming we're going to see those two battle it out in the championship. At substate number 6, we have Kemper and Grundy. Grundy's been hot as of late, and we know Kemper's good. I think Grundy had a couple of votes this week for our 2A rankings as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think I put them in there at all, but sure.
Somebody had Grundy there. And we'll look, probably Paul. Jeez, Paul. I wish he was in here. He could tell us his opinion. I guess not. This 7th substate, this one's a tough one too. A lot of Des Moines area schools in here. Grandview Christian, Des Moines Christian, Trainer, and Van Meter. So there's not really like a clear. I think DMC or Trainer would have got the 1 seed there, but all those teams could have been 1 seeds. Grandview's got a ton of losses, but we know they're good. I think they've beaten some tough teams as well. So, and they've competed with Trainer before. And Van Meter kind of gets beat up as well with Des Moines Christian, but that'll be a fun one to watch. And on our last one, the 8th substate, Roland Story and South Hamilton, the Heart of Iowa conference matchup that we saw last night. I think Roland Story won by 24. They split the season series, so I don't know how that'll take out. And then Underwood is the undefeated team that we've had trouble ranking the whole year because they haven't played as tough of a schedule, but yet they're still undefeated. Only team in 2A that is undefeated now. And then East Sac County is the last team that rounds out that substate. So any more thoughts about the 2A brackets?
I love the 8th bracket there, the 8th substate. Roland Story, good team. They've been ranked a few times in our brackets personally. South Hamilton's been in there all year. They've been in there for a long time. They've just been lower on the list. Like you said, Underwood's been very on and off, I think. They've kind of or not on and off, we just haven't been able to rank them in that 1 or 2 spot all year. And so it's kind of a weird team, but they do have, I know for a fact they have, if not the highest, the second highest point differential. So whether or not it's a light schedule, they're still blowing teams out and they're undefeated, the only team in 2A to be undefeated. So I don't know. Underwood's a really good team, despite it or not. But I guess we'll see if they're good enough to take on teams that actually play. And we know are good teams. Underwood's kind of that weird team where we don't really know if they're legit or not, just because they haven't played anybody. But
if you're undefeated, we know you're good. So we'll see how they play it. I mean, if you're undefeated, we know that you have the talent. You've beat teams that probably aren't as good necessarily, but that doesn't mean you can't compete with some of these better teams. You just got to have the mentality that we're the underdog still, right? When you go into these games against Rolling Story and South Hamilton. So, well, let's look at the 1A ones. I got them pulled up. I'll just run through them here real quick. There's a lot of games in the 1A ones. There's a lot of teams in there. So we probably won't get to the best games until later. And that's what we're going to talk about on Monday. But we're going to look at the first sub-state. North Union is the 1 seed here. No debate there. They deserve that 1 seed. They've been playing really good as of late. I think only a couple losses. South O'Brien is the other highest seed on the other side of their bracket. They have a couple losses, but another team that was undefeated for a long time without the quality wins. Looking at the second sub-state, Lake Mills coming down from 2A. They've kind of climbed the ranks as of late in our rankings, that's for sure. And then Remsen's the other one on their side. What do you think about Lake Mills?
I like Lake Mills a lot. I know one of my friends who plays for Ankeny, Kate, he gives me crap all the time about Lake Mills. Just from there, his parents are from there or something. But Lake Mills is actually a really good team. We've never had them that high. They've been like the 6, 7, 8 seed the entire ranked for us in 1A all year. But I mean, they're 18, 19, and 1 right now. So I mean, they have like 1 or 2, maybe 2. I don't know if they lost recently. I don't think they did. I always would have said something.
I don't think they did.
I think they're 18 or 19 and 1, and so they're a really good team, and they do actually play a few good, like other good competitions over. So good team. I like Lake Mills a lot, and I kind of got to give a little respect for my friend, but I'm excited to watch them play. So
yeah, that'll be good. This next one's going to be interesting. You're going to talk about this a little bit. Sub-state number 3, North Lynn, just coming off a huge win the other day against Marquette Catholic. They only have the 1 loss. And I'm blanking on who that was, but then Ankeny Christian's on the other side there of North Lynn.
My Ankeny Christian, just coming from Ankeny, I don't know why I like them. I have no connection towards them whatsoever, but I like Ankeny Christian a lot. You can't ever doubt them. They're Ankeny. They have some good kids there. I play with them every once in a while. But North Lynn is legit. I accidentally ranked them. Like, I think I put Marquette Catholic 1. I think. And you texted me about it or whatever. But North Lynn upsetting Marquette Catholic for their first loss of the year was huge. I think it's either them, and despite the loss that Marquette had, I still think they could be argued as still the best team in the state despite that loss to North Lynn. But I think North Lynn, Keota, and Marquette are all really good teams. So it'll be fun to see how they all play. And I'm assuming Marquette and North Lynn will probably end up meeting up again at some point. I wouldn't be willing to not, or to put that out of the spectrum. I bet you see them again one more time here in the postseason. So that'll be a fun game to watch if that happens.
Yeah, they're definitely 2 of the most accomplished. So you look across the board, they're definitely the 2 favorites. My dad has friends that were in the area. He said Northland kind of just dominated that game. They were up, I think, even by more. They only won by 13. They're up by maybe 20 at one point in that game. So just dominated against Marquette Catholic. Nevertheless, we know Marquette Catholic is talented. So we'll likely see them at Wells Fargo. Hopefully, I would like to watch them play. So they're in the next sub-state number 4. Along with them is Dunkerton, who they're usually a really talented team. Struggle a little bit here, but I only think they have 3 or 4 losses, so they'll be talented against Marquette Catholic. Sub-state number 5, Winfield Mount Union. They've been pretty quiet. I think they only have maybe 1 loss on the season, so they're really talented. They're going to go up against Holy Trinity. Holy Trinity has quite a few losses, actually, but they're one of the hardest schedules in 1A. Over there for Holy Trinity. North Mahaska is also in this sub-state as well. They have a couple big wins on the season. We look at sub-state number 6, Keota. They're in their sub-state number 6, along with Key, 2 teams that we had undefeated for the whole year. I think Key has only lost 1 time. Keota is still undefeated. So maybe we'll see them at the end. They haven't played as much of a schedule as some of these other teams, and it's been hard to rank both of them the whole year. But that'll be interesting to see those guys. Also, another team to note in this sub-state, Gladbrook, Rhinebeck, they made our rankings this week as well. Or they may have snuck in there at the 10. I'm not sure.
No, they got dropped out. What Key is at our 10 spot at the moment.
Okay.
They also have 2 losses as well. So.
2 losses. Gladbrook was right there on the edge when I was doing our rankings. So they'll be good. That'll be a fun one to watch.
I think they were up there.
Yeah.
Previously. I think, but
they play a tougher schedule, I think, as well. So looking at the last two, Substate number 7, Linville Sully, I believe their only loss is to Keota. So that's Keota's signature win as well. And they have East Mills and theirs, who's been quiet, but they have had a pretty good year. They got a 1 seed there. I think Linville got a tough one. They have ACGC and Earlham in the same side of their bracket, and they play Madrid a lot. I'm pretty sure ACGC has beat Madrid. Pretty sure Earlham has maybe beat Dwayne Christian or some of those schools too. So that'll be a tough one for Linville Sully. And then the last one here, Substate number 8, Madrid, who's got the most losses of a 1 seed, I believe. They play in that conference, like we said, with ACGC and Van Meter and Dwayne Christian. So some 2A schools in there that are tough. Panorama is also in there too. They play in that same conference, but they have a couple key wins. And then Woodbine is there on the other side, along with Zyra PHK. So that's going to be a tough one. These last two substates, I think, are going to be the closest. There's not really two clear favorites in my eyes.
Yeah, so. No, I love watching, like, I guess I don't watch any of them, but it's entertaining to see how 1A comes together just because there's so many good teams all over the place. I also think it's partial to the reason that, like, my father grew up in a small town, and so he always told me that, you know, if you have one good player, like one really good player in 1A, you're going to be a really good team just because you just have a lack of people there compared to like a 4A or a 3A school just because there's not that many people. So when you have like a guy like Earlham has, it's hard to not be a good team. And so it's kind of cool to see all these teams, and you have a lot of really good teams that kind of play, maybe not as good as competition, but it's cool to see them all come together and play in sub-states and then the postseason. So it'll be fun to watch those last two, and just 1A and 2A entirely. So
yeah, it's cool to see. I think there's more upsets that happen in the 1A, and that just is due to, like, some teams have played a lot more closer games and better teams, and some people haven't, but then they're still good, and we don't really know it until we get to the postseason. So it'll be good to watch all those. I don't think we have anything else. Jack, do you got anything else to add before we shut her down?
Not really. I think we just I don't know. Hopefully we didn't do too bad. Hopefully we don't get fired for this. I mean, we did it without Blake for the first time, so hopefully it went decent. But
I don't think we did anything. I think it's supposed to be fun. So yeah, I think we made it fun.
So I mean,
we have fun all the time.
Yeah, we try to. We don't get any comments on these either. So I was gonna say, let us know below, but we don't get anything anyway besides like hate comments on what we did wrong. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if this is entertaining. I know we can definitely get some other guys on here. So like maybe some Valley guys or Ankeny guys or something. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah,
maybe
for
some
sure.
Gilbert guys.
It'll be cool. Maybe some Gilbert guys. It'll be. I think we definitely can. And as postseason starts to get going, there'll be a lot more to talk about when we get these brackets. We're probably going to try to get to some other games. I'm going to still try to do the Gilbert home games, but on the nights that we don't have games, we're gonna try to get to some other ones as well if we have the opportunity. So it'll be fun to maybe get to some different games, some couple different conferences. So, well, thanks for hopping in here, guys. If you made it this far in the podcast, we appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're lacking in our subscriber count. We got to make sure we get our subscribers up. So that's kind of why we did this with the features of the guys there from Kennedy. I think it's just adds something different that we were missing maybe, and maybe it's something you guys like, maybe it's something you didn't like. And if you have any suggestions, we're open to hear them here on the podcast and our YouTube channel. So that's it for me. That's me and Jack on Bound to Talk Basketball. No Blake today. Hopefully we'll see you on Monday with Blake and maybe Paul for some sub-state, some state predictions. Fingers crossed, Paul. So I think that's going to do it.
He's probably watching this. He's probably going to watch this, and then
he is
typically not coming because of it.
Oh, geez, Paul. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, guys.
We should have done the music.